by Stucco Johnson that slid down a hill accidentally when it was being moved to its current location. It was set upright, still intact, and drug here by horses, cementing Stucco Johnson's reputation as a master craftsman. On 6th Avenue, you can learn the history of the Seward Community Library Museum, the honorary start of our walking tour, and see several houses moved here by horses, and learn about one family's harrowing escape from the fires and exploding oil tanks during the 1964 earthquake. You can also learn about Seward's Quonset huts and the famous actress that may once have stayed in one of them. Check out on Railway Avenue the beautiful train station that used to be on Adams Street but was moved here to save it from the floods. See the Founders Monument, where a landing party arrived here in 1903, and you can look over to where the 4th Avenue Wharf used to be before it went into the drink during the 1964 earthquake. On Adams Street, you can see the haunted Van Gilder Hotel, and the Standard Oil Manager's house that survived the earthquake and the exploding oil tanks next to it. And then on Jefferson Street, it's the widest street in town because Lowell Creek used to rage down it and regularly flood the town. We tried to contain it once with a big wooden box or flume, and when that didn't work, we dug a tunnel through the mountain to divert it. On Church Street, you can stop by and visit the old Methodist Church, a wonderful building that's been connecting people in Seward since 1917. Then you can head up Lowell Canyon Road and learn the truth and conjecture about our famous Mount Marathon race. And don't forget, there's still 20 other interesting historical sites on the tour worth a visit as well. We hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you so much to our partners, donors, contributors, and especially to the property owners willing to share Seward's history with others. Enjoy. So you may have noticed that each sign has a QR code or a barcode in the upper right-hand corner. And that's so anyone, if they're just out wandering around and come across a sign, they can just hold up their phone to that QR code and go directly to our website, which Brenda is going to be pulling up. Can you show that?
Oh, that was on the website. Oh, you want me to get that?
The website, right?
No.
So anyway, as soon as they get to the website, they can see the video that we just watched. They can also see the historic walking tour map, which you just have in front of you. They can download maps so they can walk around and see this map on the phone. They can see some additional history. They can also see our references and our partners. So this is what it looks like. As soon as you go on the website, you can see the video, you can see the walking tour map, you can see the back of the walking tour map right below. Download this walking tour map here. The next section is additional history, a little bit more if you're interested in reading about it. You can see our partners and contributors. And finally below that is just references, what we used to create this tour. So this highly successful collaborative project is a result of thousands of hours of volunteer hours, relentless enthusiasm, and significant donation of time and talent from both the Historic Preservation Commission, our partners, local businesses, local and state entities, passionate historians, and private citizens. And we wish to thank all the city council members for your partnership for this project, which we hope will benefit both visitors and our citizens for many years to come. So, thank you.
And there's cake.
Yes, and there's cake.
That's been my mantra. That's the most important thing.
There's a chocolate cake with chocolate mousse filling, and there's a white cake with lemon filling.
I even have my hearing aids in.
Thank you so much to the Historic Preservation Commission.
And there's Kate, and I'm like, okay, well, where is she?
Yeah, I didn't know who that was, so I'm like, who's Kate?
Good, at least we were in that together. Must have been weird.
All right, next we have public hearings, and tonight we have ordinance 2021-005. Madam Clerk, please read the title into the record.
Ordinance 2021-005 is amending Seward City Code 2.10.100, compensation of council members, to adjust monthly stipend amounts to reflect the 50th percentile for compensation in the Kenai Peninsula Borough, and enacting Seward City Code Section 2.30.230 to establish a stipend for planning and zoning commissioners.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
I move for the enactment of ordinance 2021-005. I'll second.
All right, now that it's on the floor. Administration, do you have any comments?
I do not. I would yield to the city clerk who sponsored this.
No. Well, as we talked about briefly during the introduction of this ordinance, it's been 40-ish, almost 40 years since any stipend adjustment has been made for council, with the exception of one that was done in 1996, but then reconsidered and failed. We kind of thought it was time to take a look at it again, and based on the study that we did across the borough, 50th percentile would in essence double the stipends for mayor and council, but still just be a modest stipend. So.
Okay. I will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed in to speak?
We do not.
Well, is there anyone in the public wishing to speak? Okay.
Linda.
Oh, Linda?
Casey is still here too. Linda Paquette, outside city limits. So remember, Casey was going to talk to this, and I think she was in favor of it. And I wanted to talk to it because I'm in favor of it. And I was here for the discussion that you had when it was introduced. And I think it's really important to try and make these seats accessible to as many citizens inside the city limits as is possible. And I think doubling the stipend from what it is to what you're going to double it to is probably not even going to make a very big step in that direction, but I think it's a beginning step, right? I think it's really called for. Those of you who've been here for a while know that I brought this up a couple of years ago, I think at this point, that it needed to be looked at. So I'm glad you're looking at it, and I really hope that you'll pass it. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Anyone else wishing to speak? I'll now close the public hearing, and we'll open it up for council comments or questions. Councilmember Damas.
I would just like to thank our city clerk for bringing this forward. I originally supported it for a couple of reasons, but after discussion, I think that I support it for a different reason, which is mainly to keep these seats open to everybody and to always maintain a diverse group of people here and on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So that's why I support it.
Thank you, Councilmember Demas.
At the introductory meeting, I spoke initially against even introducing this because in my heart I feel this is public service. However, I was convinced by certain members to my left and that's how the process is meant to be, that people offer different opinions and you listen. And I think if this opens the possibility of others running for council, that's a good thing. I stick by my guns as to what I will be doing with the additional money. But also it is a little awkward when the only way to raise our stipend is by us voting for it. Usually other people vote for people to have increases in pay, and this is one of the awkward moments. And it's every time, like on the Borough Assembly, that suggestions were made to change the stipend, people balked at it for that reason. It's just awkward to vote for your own, even if it's just a marginal increase. But I'll support this tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember McClure. I guess I will speak to it as well. I am in support of this. I do feel that raising the stipend will get more accessibility to the council and have people be able to give of their time. We all know that in this town, with most of us are business owners and or participate in businesses, that our time is money, and being away from that, whether it's childcare, whether it's not being able to work or to take time off work, these are things that can get people who might be involved and might have barriers to be on council, to give them the opportunity to free up some of that time in this community service. I've learned with my service here that I place a high priority on the time that I spend here and the time that I spend engaging with constituents. And I'm more looking forward to the future of the people who I would like to be involved in council and the people who would be able to participate and to see this as some way to give back to those who volunteer of their time so preciously. So, any other comments? Madam Clerk?
Voting on the enactment of ordinance 2021-005. Demas?
Yes.
McClure?
Yes.
Casagrande?
Yes.
Osenga?
Yes.
Cease?
Yes.
Buckland?
Yes.
That ordinance has been enacted.
All right. Next on the agenda is unfinished business, and we have none. And we are on to new business, which we have all on the consent. And moving on, next is informational items and reports. The first is the City of Providence Financial for May. Does council have any comments or questions about Providence Financials? Next is the memo on the virtual student exchange. And that was provided in the packet. Does any council member has any questions or comments? And last is a letter from the City of Obihiro that accompanied the awards for the Mount Marathon race. And it's my understanding that those awards have been delivered to the Chamber of Commerce. All right. Does any council members have any comments or questions? I guess I would like to say thank you to the City of Obihiro, and maybe they could go out to cheer Allie on, since no one's allowed to go in there, so that would be really cool. Maybe reaching out to them, I don't know if we can write back and thank them for the gifts, and then let them know that we're cheering for her. And Lydia, I believe, I'm sorry. We had a conversation about Ally. But if we could reach out to them and see if they would enjoy cheering on for Ally, Lydia as well, sorry. So we are done with the business and now we're on to citizens' comments. There's no sign-in for this. Are there any citizens in the audience wishing to speak?
May I reference earlier, just in favor of what you were talking about earlier about the stipend? I actually got on a meeting one night at 7 o'clock and I gave up at midnight. So just to say, you guys, we've been referred to sometimes the Historic Preservation Council as being really enthusiastic with the number of meetings we have. I've watched a number of meetings that you have, the special meetings and all the things that you do. I'm very grateful for your service. So I'm glad to see that brought forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak? All right, and we'll move on to council and administration comments. Next we have administration.
Just a reminder that we will have a work session at the, in July, the second meeting in July, regarding the public workshop and the location for the public workshop. So that information will be coming forward to you.
All right, and we will start with Councilmember DeMoss.
Thank you first to everybody that called in tonight. I really appreciate that kind of involvement. I think that that's the most effective way to reach your council members and administration and get your concerns out is by just coming to the council meetings. They're open to the public now, and I just really appreciate everybody that calls in all the time on a regular basis and gives us their input. Thank you, admin, for working so diligently on the things that we've talked about with just a lot of stuff coming up with land sale and that kind of thing. Thank you, Historic Preservation Committee. I think that the work that you did is amazing, and I think the walking tour will be a really nice draw and something for people to do that don't have activities planned. Just having a business in downtown Seward, there's people walking around all the time just saying, you know, what should we do besides the Sea Life Center? What is there? And I think that's a really cool way to get people kind of all over the place. So I think that's really great, and thank you so much for doing that. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember DeMoss. Councilmember Casagrande.
Like, I can't keep it. I'm like gonna try not to yell, but go, Lydia, go. That is so cool. I can't believe we're in this little tiny town, and you look at the pool we have, and it's like such a beautiful message to any child growing up here that, sorry, the sky is the limit. Like, you guys can do anything, and there's nothing that can ever hold you back. And I'm beyond so proud of her. And yeah, sorry, I didn't expect that to come. But, and I'd also like to say thank you to Historic Preservation for all your hard work. And the tour is really awesome. Same like Councilmember DeMoss said about tourists, like, what do we do? I'm like, the Sea Life Center. Or you want to tell them to go on a hike, but you're not sure what their hiking level is, and then it becomes this like, I don't have the 30 minutes to kind of try to guide you what hike to do. So and then also thank you so much for administration and all your work and diligence in making things keep on happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Casagrande. Councilmember Cease.
Well, first off, Valerie left, but she's gone this week, but she leaves, I think, by the 2nd, correct? Isn't that when the librarian's going to be here? And museum instructor, so I'll give her the best in her new endeavors. I want to also thank the historical people. This map is beautiful, and those pictures are so wonderful, and I'm glad they were all in our pack because I got to read all of them. I had to use a magnifying glass on some of the things that were so little. And also, I just want to say that with Lydia, being one of our girls here, they are having some t-shirts made. Tomorrow is the very last day that you can order them, and hopefully they'll all get here in time. And my grandson from the Kennedy store bought one for each one of his workers. They're gonna take pictures and have it put in the paper. She's so excited, they're excited, so anyway, go Lydia.
Thank you, Councilmember Cease. Councilmember Osenga?
Start off with thank you to administration and all your department heads for all the hard work you guys have put into the CIP information in that work session we just had. Seward Historic Preservation Commission, that was just really awesome. I just loved it. I didn't know what to expect, and I just loved the whole thing. So great job, guys. And of course, yeah, go Lydia, go. I agree. It's amazing and very proud moment. And good luck to her and all the other competitors.
Councilmember McClure?
Okay, everything that they said, I agree with. I want to wish Brenda a happy birthday. And there's cake. That's a good thing. On a more somber note, Mike Gravel passed on Saturday, and I knew him. He was part of the old guard Democrats that my grandpa Solly used to have down at his building all the time, and he was the young one. He was really flashy. If you read about Mike Gravel, there's newspaper articles now, but he was my mom's age. So, compared to Egan and Greening and some of the others, he was young. I had a crush on him when I was younger. And followed him. He was completely anti-war. He got in trouble for that sometimes. And quite a guy. And he was 91, so that's a good life. But you'll read about that as part of our interesting history. Speaking of that, we had a successful cemetery tour on the solstice. A couple of the commissioners from Historic Pres were there, and we had about 30 people or so, which is just the perfect group. And there was actually some humor towards the end. You can find humor in cemeteries. Thanks to Lee Pileski for that. I know just in a tiny fraction of how much work went into this, all these signs and the tour that Historic Pres has put together, because I was part of a little group from the Historical Society helping with the sign that will be out by the library, and just to get the wording right and to get everything right. And it's hard to do something that's so important, and it takes a lot of time, so hats off to you guys for that. And I want to wish everybody a very safe and sane holiday frenzy week that's coming up. Be really careful driving around particularly, and just have a safe holiday.
Thank you, Councilmember McClure. I wanted to say first, thank you to the Historic Preservation Commission. After I lost my first election, Iris told me, well, they need somebody for historic preservation. And I had gone to the meeting, and I think at that meeting, Tongi, they had asked you, I think there was 3 or 4 days of a deadline to make the first CLG grant that I think you tried, and then it didn't really work out. And then to see it come that far, to reapply and to get it and to have this come to fruition is really, really cool. And I think people will really enjoy doing this tour, and it'll be really fun to see people walking around with their phones kind of like geocaching around. I would also like to say that I do work in the hospitality industry, so it is very stressed this year. So as we go out and we go to eat, just remember kindness and that we're all working really hard. And we're trying to do the best that we can do with everything that we got. And it's going to be a crazy fun weekend. And be safe and make good decisions and don't drink and drive. And with that, we will call the end to this meeting.
There's cake.
Leave it 55 minutes?